Welcome to LOC Tactical. My name is Nathan, and today we're going to be going over holsters. This is I believe it is called the Kaizen holster. This is from LAS Concealment. I was sent this holster to do a review on it. This is an initial review. So basically, I have a few things that I have had in consideration. As soon as I got the holster, I basically went right to work to start seeing what I thought of it, trying to get it set up the way that I would like. And there are a few things that I have initially caught my eye and have gone into my memory bank. Okay, now that we have moved everything over to this holster, let's cover some of the things about this that I've noticed on the start. First off, I really like the retention on this. I like the positive click. So when you put it in there, you know when it's seated, and it definitely feels like it's seated, and obviously it's not coming out. There it goes. So took quite a bit of shaking for that. Okay, so the other thing that I know that I like about this is going to be the magazine retention. I have barely adjusted any of the magazine retention on this, and it holds it pretty well. But because I'll show you this, I have tightened this one all the way down, and I would say this falls somewhere between 10 to 15% retenchability. No, it's the amount of retention that this has. Because honestly, let me see what level. There we go. Yeah, just like a little bit of wiggles, it eventually works out. Yeah, so it slips out pretty easily. Whereas this one, let me do the same amount of flick. This one holds it much better. However, this is where we get into some of the things that I'm not necessarily as keen on, and that is right here on this corner. This really digs into I don't know body parts that well. Right here, whatever that's called, so right where it sits down, it really digs into the side of my leg right there. So that's one thing that I've wondered about this, maybe if I adjusted ride height, but I don't know if I can get it any higher than it is right now. The only other way that I would know to get the ride height higher would be to basically remove, not use this third screw and just shift everything up one. But keep in mind though, I'm a smaller individual. So there was one other thing that I wondered about. I'm curious as to how solid this connection is between the two holsters. I've not run it for a while. It's very flexible, and I'm sure they designed it that way. So it's very flexible. There's not much resistance by way of bending, but just like kind of as an example, it can wobble around quite easily there. Whereas if I go and put this one in here, you can get that going pretty good, and it doesn't like warp, twist, whatever. So but I do really like how good this what the mag tension is. Yes, the mag tension, or how tight it is to hold that, whatever. So I'm going to throw this on real quickly. So the hooks are, well here, let me show you the difference here. So just so you can get nice up close. So the hooks for this right here, this is a different hook for your belt than this one right here. And this really definitely does snug. I really like this hook in general because of how low profile it is. So whenever I put this on, slip this down in there. Like you can see, there's very minimal. It's the space between. Let's see if I can get some light on it. The space between your belt and then any exterior garment. There's like the amount of space that loop takes up. Not loop. That hook takes up is extremely small. So I really like that. And then. There we go. So this is the setup here. So yeah. Okay, this is without the wedge on it so far, and we're going to get on the wedge. I really like this. It's much lighter in this configuration to work with. It's not so much weight. With the extra light and the red dot, so it is a lot nicer, I will say, as far as carrying around in the summer. One thing I will notice is the space between here, these two belts or these two hooks is extra wide in comparison. So I'll flip. So you can see right here. I don't know if you can actually. That's really difficult to show. The distance between those loops and these loops is much smaller. So in comparison, so interior to interior, we're looking here. Let's see, let me use this as a better way, a clearer thing for y'all to look at. So distance from here to there is that far. The distance from interior to interior is that far between hook to exterior. Between, oh my goodness, I can't talk or think. Between loops or hooks, sorry, we have quite a bit of space. The positives and negatives between these two is it's very difficult if you have a wide belt buckle to get in between here. Like for instance, oh yeah, there's my seat. For instance, the belt from Core Essentials, if you get the wider belt, for me, it can get around it, but it's barely makes it around the belt and that metal part to where you can run the buckle in the front. It's a lot of tight space between there. So obviously, if you're concealed carrying, it really helps just to run the buckle on the side anyways, because you get a slimmer profile up front. But where this is nicer is if you choose to run the buckle in the front, you're not going to have as difficult a time with that. The downside, however, of these buckles, of these hooks being so wide, is for me, depending on what type of pants I'm wearing that day, the loops in the front. So here's the button and these loops right here. Sometimes on my pants they're a little further and a little closer together. So these often, like, I have to really adjust. I can't just throw this holster on and have the same draw location for my pistol because of the positioning of these loops here. So up front, it's always the same with these. These hooks do not interrupt where my draw is going to be, but these hooks do interrupt because I have to either position it a little further to the left or a little further to the right, and sometimes it's just in a poorer position for me as far as drawing is concerned. Just because I have to now adjust draw angle where I'm approaching. Like if it's further to the left, you're going to have to cant your wrist further to the right, so it slows it down or could cause a potential issue in your draw if you're not familiar with your tools, which that goes for anything. Let's see. Okay. The only other thing is I was a little sad that the mag is not the same color as the holster. I think it's cool, like this right here. I think it's really neat that these are both the same color, and this is all cosmetic preferences, but this is a really cool camouflage, if you call it a camouflage. So it'd be really cool to have it on both the mag holder as well as the holster. But now we're going to go put the wedge on it. So basically how I do these is anytime I put a wedge on, is I immediately just wear it right after I put the wedge on to make sure that it gets, it has all the pressure it needs to help it adhere to. There's nothing really on there. So I'll do like let's do right in here. So, and then I'm going to wear this actually for quite a few hours after I put this on. So those are my opinions so far. Just got the holster, so haven't had much time behind it, so I don't know necessarily all the ins and outs of it like I do this one quite as much. But yeah, I'll try to get you guys a full video on all the opinions. Probably, I'd say maybe in about a month I'd be able to get you a video out to see what I think about it. But want to give a shout out again to LAS Concealment for sending this over. They have been great so far. I love the camouflage pattern. Oh yes, that is its greatest fault. I totally forgot. The greatest fault is that it doesn't have the Relv Moab camo. I stumbled across this camo and I think this is the coolest camouflage pattern out there. So that is the major downside to the holster. No, I'm just messing. But I thank LAS very much for sending the holster over. I look forward to wearing it and getting a little bit more used to it and seeing what I think of it as a whole, with a lot more experience behind it under my belt. But yeah, that's all I've got so far. I'd like to get a few more videos out on EDC, so those will be coming up soon. But I'll hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all. Have a great one. See y'all later.